Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome to Fantasy Forecast for Saturday, November 12th, 2016. From looking at the scoreboard here and looking at the winnings, I'm sure all of you, as well as me, are pleased that took the line yesterday. We'll go through it real fast. You can check the video from yesterday, obviously, if you want to know why I chose these things, but this was pretty simple for me. I'm not going to say we always win a quintuple up. I just throw one of them in when I have 5 different triple ups lined up alongside of it too. So, remember that. But at the same time, and you can see one lineup, my tournament lineup. I ran my tournament lineup and only was a 297. Not good enough for last night, but here's your 316 winning. And I set this up for cash for you guys. Chris Paul and Walker. Walker obviously just had a monster of a night. Really powered the lineup ahead because that's a 7 times value. I expected Paul to do a bit better, but he got close to the floor, 45 I was expecting, and most people are happy with that. But on a night where you needed 300 for sure, you really needed 300. DeRozan was 5 times value. Thornton was a complete disappointment. The minutes just start to be all over the place over there, and in regards to today, you have to watch the situation carefully with the Wizards, if Beal is going to sit or not. If he does, then the minutes are probably going to go to Thornton or Satoransky, but then the question starts to become, what are they going to do with the minutes? Because he didn't get as many last night when he just came out with the coldest hand. It's like did he walk out of the freezer? I don't know. So, and the coach saw it and sat him. Hayward and Miles. Hayward was just fine at the value. I'm telling you guys, he's still mispriced. He's mispriced again today. 7,400 still, I believe, and even on the last one. Let's see. Still 7,400. They haven't moved him. And he was 23% owned. So it's likely he's going to go into a higher ownership. And that was in a quintuple up. Miles was just fine for value. And, you try to find someone to push your lineup to head sometimes when, you just need someone to slot in. He was a slot-in pick. I didn't expect him to get 40. If he didn't get him his 20 was fine. Porzingis, I expected to get more, but he gave a floor. Favors, with his minute production time, he's still mispriced at 5,900, and yet again today, I don't know what they're doing, guys, but Favors is a pick all day long in tournaments. All right. And Embiid's sitting today, guys, but like I was telling you, whenever they let this beast go for more than 24 minutes, wow, we're going to be really shocked at what we can see. All right, let's move on to today's lineup. Now remember, I'm recommending this for cash games. I also want to tell you guys, when I'm going to go through the positions here after I go through this lineup, that I do tournament lineups. I have 6 different lineups running today, and I'm going to show you guys the results of all 6 different lineups tomorrow. That's why my account only shows instead of playing $20 today, we're playing $40 today. And a lot of that is in the $3 shot tournament. I'm going to try to hit pretty high in the tournament. I don't know if I'm trying to win it, but I'm trying to show you guys what different variations can do and why the pros often win, unless you can try to compete against them and play multiple different lineups with different variations and different schools of thought running through your head all at the same time. Otherwise, there's no chance. You need to play single entry games and run your best against their best. And so that's what we do here. Okay, so my best today against a pro's best or anywhere, which is what I'm doing every day on these videos, guys, if you watch. Sometimes you've been there if you've been watching since the beginning of this season, starting at season 2. I've had a couple where we've landed right at the smack near bottom, 99th, 87th place. They're horrible. But then we'll land, 6th place, 11th place last night, and then the night before, you hit 2 quintuples in a row, and people get pretty happy with that. Just remember to always consistently bet the same amounts. You never know from night to night. And it's the community's getting smarter. More subs, everyone. This is a free channel. People are going to learn how to find value, how to pick value. And what I show you guys and you think, oh, I've never heard of that guy, starts to become a chalk play. Chalk play meaning that they're used all the time for those of you that are new to DFS. Let's just start out. At the point guard, I have Frazier and Smart. Frazier is playing the Lakers. We already know about the Lakers' defense, and we also know about his minute run. And really, guys, you have nothing to be ashamed of or afraid of for taking Frazier sub 6,000, especially against the Lakers. For a cash game, you're looking at a solid 6 times value. I'd be shocked if you didn't pay 33 fantasy points. I mean, 30 at a minimum. And then, his upside, though, is up to 40 there. And, that's not bad for anchoring a cash lineup. Marcus Smart, I'm going to finally jump on the bandwagon there because Boston is just so beat up, and they've finally shown to me a commitment that they're going to give him a few minutes while they're this beat up. Now, this is all subject to change in a little bit, depending on when their guys come back. And just look at the Boston Celtics guys, look it up and look at their starters, and they're out. I don't need to go through that, but that's basic basketball. And they're also playing against the Pacers, who have shown that they've got a really weak interior defense right now, and so they're trying to shore that up, which is leaving a lot of shots open for almost everyone across the board against them. The Pacers really need to find some kind of answer right now. I think they can, but it's more of a regrouping thing, and they still haven't done it yet. They're still reeling. And Boston, who's a team that's also kind of reeling from injuries, it's going to be an interesting night, but I think you take advantage of the minutes sub 5,000. Marcus Smart's going to see 30 minutes today. All right, at the shot guard, we got Booker and Kilpatrick. It's a fast play. He's on the Suns. Come on, guys, it's a fast game. You've got the Nets going right up there against him. I mean, I'm not ashamed to just say, I only expect him to get around 30 fantasy points today, maybe 35, but if his shot got hot for some reason, he could give us 40 or 45. I'm just worried about if his shot is cold and he only runs up 25 with the peripheral stats. But fortunately, it's the Nets. And the same thing on the other side of the equation. I'll take Kilpatrick right on the other side because Phoenix is almost the copycat of what I just said. Kilpatrick has come a bit in price. People are going to be on him today in chalky because he should be priced higher for the minute run he's getting right now with what's going on. But you take it while it's there. It seems like FanDuel doesn't adjust the prices fast enough. And like I said in my last video and all other times, you always try to find value if you can. While one or two might not pay off over the course of an entire lineup, you generally get more than enough points to beat half the people, which is why it's a cash game. All right. Now you got Paul George, and it says game time decision there, which wasn't happening when I was filming this video. We can look up what's happening right now and see. That's what I love about this. So it says George sprained his foot on Friday. Software told there's no indication of a dealing. Expect an update on the status Friday of the game, and that just posted today at 2:50 or 1:50 my time. So this posted 5 minutes ago. Okay, so when is the game time start? At 7 p.m. Eastern. We will know if he's starting, but the fact that this just happened makes me very leery. Watch how fast we can make a change, though, guys. This isn't really an issue. I expected George to be a very sneaky good play today. I didn't think people would be on it with Kwame Leonard out there, and there's a lot of choices in small forward you guys can run with. We'll change this in a moment here, and when we go through. If George plays, run it. This might be some kind of precautionary thing. I think he's in a good spot against a Celtics team that's depleted and really isn't showing defense right now. If he doesn't play, and their coach might be thinking the same thing and being like, we don't need him today, let's rest him, then all sorts of things open up on the Pacers side. There are other players that we can start considering. So, with that being said, TJ Warren against the Nets, 6,100. We're finally getting close to the price is appropriate. I would say 65 is more right. I'll take the small little value, especially against the Nets opponent today and Phoenix home court and the pace of the game. Anthony Davis, it's expensive, guys. But if he screws you because he puts up 65, 70 points against the Lakers because the Lakers somehow hang in some way, well then, you're going to have a problem. You're going to need to have that man in your lineup. And if you don't, it's going to hurt. Now, I think a lot of people actually might jump off him, and his ownership in cash games may be a bit below 50%, but you mark my words, it's going to be high to 50%. It'll be in the 40s if it's not above 50. So, with that being said, a plus 40% ownership range and against the Lakers, if you can find a way to pay the money, and there's enough value on this slate that you can, do it. And we have Millsap at the power forward position, rounding out. Millsap, I think, is in a fine spot for like a nice 50-point game against the Hawks. Don't ask me why, but I see that just the way the games work and the way he thinks and the way he shoots and the way they're coaching and everything, he's going to end up being the center of the time of possession today over for Atlanta, and he's just going to run all over a Philly Sixers defense that just doesn't really have a quick answer for him. All right, and to round out your cash lineup for today, Olenek for Boston against that Pacers defense that has pretty much the same type of interior I was just talking about for the Sixers. I mean, God, you could take a mirror and switch their uniforms, and I know this is very generalizing, but if you look at fantasy performances, it's not. So even though Boston is not had a good defense, I mean, maybe they're going to run along the best defense as a good offense today. And if they do, well, Olenek should be just fine. But what is promising here at a minimum price to anchor the rest of your salary on a very large slate day, guys, is Olenek's getting minutes. When you can get minutes at 3,500 and get a few peripheral stats and everything out and get your bare minimum of 5 times value, 17.5 points, that's all you're going to need to run a cash game. Okay, real fast now, since we have time, we're going to run through the positions. Your other options today. Sorry about that. And you saw how big that list was. You got Chris Paul right at the top there against the T-Wolves, 9,300, finally getting fairly priced. I like IT today. There's no issue if you can find a way to fit IT in your lineup for tournaments, do it, especially against the Pacers there. You got Lowry can always on any given night kill you, but I don't think tonight's any particular special one against the Knicks. They're not super fast, and their defense is average, so Bledsoe is in line for an okay night against he could be a sneaky pick. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be 10, 8, 6% owned, and you'll be like, why? And it's because there were a lot of choices, guys. I don't know if I'd be on anyone from Memphis today. They run just a bit slow, even Conley at 71. Teague was good the night before. He can do good again. Rubio, Schroeder, the Lakers against New Orleans. I mean, you got two teams against each other. I mean, he's certainly starting to drop in price enough where you can start to think about it. But I prefer to see more points out of him. It seems like he averages just right around there. I never see a ceiling issue from him from above 30. And you want people that are going to score 40 points if you're really looking for a great lineup. I have Marcus Smart today because of the minutes and against the Pacers, and I've already explained why. And don't know if there's much below the minimum. You can look at Patty Mills, though, at 4,200. I'm not going to really do stuff above sub 4,000 anymore unless there's the point, guys, and I'm actually focusing on the person. So, for time's sake, and for a reason I'm going to explain in a minute at the end of the video. All right, so that's it for the point guard position today. The shot guard. Ooh, Harden. Harden put up a nice game against San Antonio the last time they played, so you guys can definitely be considering doing it again today. The problem always is here with on this kind of slate is going to be price. I think on a cash game you need balance because if you go with the guy that's 11-5, you really almost need to be sure that he's going to do great against him. And Harden isn't known for his defense, but San Antonio still has some. So I would, they're not the best in the league anymore, like I was saying in the previous videos, but they're still good. It still pops. So I don't think 11-5 is where you want to spend it today. Excuse me. We got DeRozan, just because of the usage. DeRozan's always in play. Alphabet as well at 9,400 because you should be going a little higher. I mean, it is against Memphis, and they're running slower now. They figured out in the offseason that in the absence of having true threats that they can truly work with, that they should probably slow the pace down a bit. And it's been working, in terms of slowing the pace down. I would look at Bradley again today. Almost all Boston players, just because of how shorthanded they are, it's almost like across the board they're slightly mispriced everywhere. So they're all tournament options in some way, shape, or form. Levine, just because of the recent performance, people can be streaky. Although against the Clippers as a defensive opponent, I would not be considering it today. Rodney Hood, perhaps, is a contrarian play. Beal is truly game time decision, guys. I don't even know when they're going to know in time for lock, so you're going to get this video an hour before. You should be watching carefully and seeing if you want to run that or not. Ellis is an okay choice against Boston. Clarkson is an okay choice. And I was saying tournament choices. I would not say look at Lou Williams as a tournament choice. I don't think he's that excellent. But watch him go off at 0.3% and just shock everyone. Same with Etwan Moore there. I mean, he's been creeping up in price as his minutes and usage have gone up. KCP is in an excellent little shot position against Denver and price sub 5,000, so that's certainly a consideration. We're looking at a big slate, guys, for tournaments. It's going to be hard to win today. So I'm going to show you 6 different lineups, and they're going to vary by quite a bit. What else do we have here? I guess Harris against Detroit can be considered. Danny Green against Houston. Young against the Lakers. Even Crawford, because it's the Clippers against the T-Wolves. I mean, you can look at a lot of different people today, guys. All right, we'll stop out there. 4,000 makes it easier. George is now game time decision. Okay, guys, what do you do? Well, giving you guys a ton of options before. You're going to know right before lock. So if he's out, move up to Kwame Leonard against Houston for like a solid lock and find a way to save $300 somewhere. Choose any of the other guys in any of the other slots that I've told you and just move it out. And I'll show you guys those results later. And that's if he ends up being out. If he doesn't end up being out, and we are going to know right before lock, then I'll run this lineup. Okay, so Leonard at the top there. Like I've said, he's got a decent floor today, and he could run up. You never know. I mean, Harden had a good game against him last night. Leonard's the heart and soul now for San Antonio. Might as well see if he can pull it out. Oh, right beneath him, though, you can always look at Gordon Hayward against Miami. I'm not thrilled about the opponent, but that's the easy save on money. You got $1,200 now, and you can even spend up in another position where I've said if you have some money. Move on. You got, let's see, Porter, Wiggins, Gallinari, Crowder. Gallinari's minute dependent at the price he's at now. The Morrises, Winslow, but it's Utah, 5,000. Well, I mean, Winslow's probably a solid cash game price that'll floor you. And Covington as well lately, I would think. You can look at Covington again. I think people were looking at him yesterday, but I think today is the better play, even though it's slightly off what people would think. I just believe the basketball opponent gets better. That's about it there. All right, T.J. Warren, of course, if you don't have T.J. Warren already. Against the Nets, just be happy with that. He's probably going to floor you a nice 30 fancy points. Anthony Davis. Now, he's getting real expensive, guys. He's against the Lakers, and the thing is, both teams. So if they ran fast, I mean, this could be a 120 game, and wow. A stack of those games, or at least the stars of those games, will solid a cash lineup. So definitely be having Davis in your cash lineups today. Outside of that, you can fade for tournaments. Go with, I would look at Porzingis, I'd look at Parker, I'd look at Randall, I'd even look at Dieng considering past performance, even though it's the Clippers. Definitely look at Favors with how cheap he is still only at 5,900 with the new minute run there is on him. I mean, that's just kind of known. 35 minutes for 5,900. Thank you. Even Harris today, Gibson, Booker, I mean, against Phoenix. So you have choices galore all across the board, guys, for tournaments. And all the way down, I would just look at Saric maybe because he's getting some minutes for Atlanta against Philly. That's probably about it. We're at 4,000. All right. Millsap, I've already talked about. And Olnick will start at the bottom for center, the crap positions. I just want some minutes, and look at the average fantasy points in just the 2 games, guys, just because he was just, So before he jumps up to 4,100 or whatever, take the 35 and help build your lineup. That's why I went with him there. I'm just looking for a cash game win. Other choices for tournaments as you move up. Zeller again against the Pacers, but I think he's still on the outs, so I would just be straying away. We don't know if Chandler's going to be fresh in time, and that really screws things up in terms of determining that because Alex Len becomes almost a must play if Chandler's out. Nurkic against Denver. You can look at JV. You can look at DeAndre Jordan against the T-Wolves, Minnesota today. They're saying Horford's game time decision. I have a feeling that he's going to sit out. If he doesn't sit out, though, it's going to change a lot of different people's minds on things, too. Might be a direct day to look around at your lineups and listen to what I said, and if you need to, cancel your lineups if you're not really sure on where to go cash. for now, with what I consider to be who's in and who's out, this is what I would say. You can go with Drummond he's on a back-to-back game, but I mean, he's against Denver, so Drummond's a choice if you can spend up at center and drop down somewhere else. Because if you get news that Horford's going to play, and that's another 7 p.m. game, you're going to want to pull a couple of those choices where Horford will get possession, and it will take away from other guys from Boston that have been getting it recently, like guys like Marcus Smart. Okay, that's Fantasy Forecast for November 12th, 2016. Real fast, we'll go ahead and review the lineup one more time. For today, at the point guard, Frazier and Smart. At the shot guard, Booker and Kilpatrick. At the small forward, George and Warren. Watch the news on George. You'll have to sub out otherwise, like I've said. Davis and Millsap at the power forward. And your center for today, Olnick. And also be watching that as well if Horford decides to play, because that will change things as well. Okay, I hope you guys won some big money yesterday. If you did, please leave a thumbs up on the video. If you like today's lineup, please leave a thumbs up. If you don't subscribe yet, please subscribe, because all those tournament lineups I was telling you guys about that I'm running today, I'm going to start offering those on a paid video for like $1 or something, something cheap. But I can only do it once I've got 1,000 subscribers. So once I have 1,000 subscribers and, I can actually afford to do it, I'm going to start doing tournament lineups in a different video for you guys as well. And I think a lot of you guys will really appreciate that, especially after seeing the results tomorrow. Okay, thank you so much for watching Fantasy Forecast. I hope you enjoyed. I want to wish you all the very best of the weekends. I hope you won, like I said. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. Follow me on Twitter if you want last-minute lineup changes. If injuries do come out, I tend to tweet those. And go on out there and go win some big money.